Okay, this is the third time I'm doing this. Oh, crazy. The recording didn't record my voice. I don't know why it turned off uh the microphone or whatever. Anyways, I have to redo this. Uh the sad thing is I have to redo it, and there was like a lot of nostalgic factor in the last video because I was seeing these places for the first time in such a long time. But, the good thing is that this won't be an hour long because now I know where everything is, and I've gotten pretty well acquainted with the map. Before, I couldn't find Mount Lebanon in all of this. It just looked like a giant mess. Pittsburgh was up here, and Mount Lebanon was somewhere, maybe even down here. Turns out it's at this V with the Cochrane. So I think where we'll start is we'll start with, where I have my essentially first memories of Mount Lebanon, and that's at Newbern Drive. So Newbern Drive was the first place that we lived at. So it's somewhere between Dormont and the high school, somewhere over here. It's also kind of hard to find. Uh, right here. So that's Newbern, and right there, this building. So this was our old apartment building, and they have footage going all the way back to 2007, but it's kind of, well, not in this position. Yeah, see 2007, but the footage isn't very good. But this is the year that we came here in 2007 August, so we have moved in. We just moved in to that apartment right there. We're probably in there right now. And this is the garage that goes into it. Surprisingly, not that much has changed. So I'm just gonna switch to the most recent one, 2025, just to see how things have changed. But really, it hasn't changed all that much. But that was our apartment, and that was our balcony. And I liked living here. It was really cold, in the winter. We only lived here for a year. Uh, Mom and dad were here many months out of the year because they helped us move. They helped us relocate, and they stayed for quite a while. Mom also traveled back frequently. She probably doesn't like this place as much because left a sour taste in her mouth. There was a kind of a mean landlady that kind of scammed her out of money when they really needed it. But I thought it was okay. Aside from that, the view was pretty nice. I mean, this isn't much to look at. I think this is a school. No, this is apartments. If we keep going down here, it's a school right there. But I thought it was nice. It was just a little far from the school, and it was cold. You had to walk. It was far. Um, Mom, they did drive me a lot, most of the time, but there are a couple times that I had to walk. Now, if you look at the back, I think this whole thing is our apartment. So if you look from the top, and this is our balcony, this is the living room, that's the kitchen, bathrooms over here facing inward, and then Shen's room, and then my room was this corner. So my room was these two windows, I think, and that might have been the kitchen. And then this restaurant, this was a restaurant next door. It's still here, obviously. Since oh no, are they remodeling? It looks like they're might be that they're remodeling, right? 2022. They're still here. So probably they're just remodeling, but I think we came a few times with Uncle Helmu. I came maybe once or twice. Yeah, I do recall coming here a few times. And if we go left, Um, that's heading towards Pittsburgh, so Shen probably knows this way. Can identify this road pretty well. Probably looks familiar. There's a swimming pool here that we never went to, and I think we also came here for groceries quite a bit because Coons was the closest one, and it's just right down here. I do have a picture from when we were renting our car, and the car. I took a picture of the car over here, So we definitely came here really early on. And I remember running down all the way down this direction when we first moved here. I was jogging, trying to get some exercise, seeing how far it goes. But the more I went this way, the more barren it got. And if you just keep following this way, it eventually leads to the tunnel in Pittsburgh, right? The highway. And this view I remember quite well. So there's that metal bridge, and then there's the Pittsburgh tunnels. So we'll go through that another day. I don't have that many memories of Pittsburgh, just to some, such as PNC Park, the museum, Carnegie Mellon, and Pittsburgh. But we'll do that in a separate recording. Now back to our house in New Bern, which is here. It's so hard to find here. Suburban maze. So there are two ways um to get to, I guess, Mount Lebanon, the main street uptown. But initially we would go through this way, and then coming back from school we'd also come through this way. Though the other way was actually quicker, but I think we didn't go that way as much. There's certain parts about the street that I remember very well. I remember this garage so well for some reason. Maybe just the color or walking past it, but I remember this garage so well. This building, seeing this building, you knew that you're going the right direction, almost home, because a lot of these buildings, the streets just look so similar. All the houses are brick houses. So coming up here, this street, which is called, well, there's an elementary school over here, which is Lincoln Elementary. And what was this street called? Beverly Road. So yeah, there's a couple shops over here. I don't think aside from the Scoops, the ice cream store, I don't think I went to any of the other ones. This I remember this though. It's been here forever, though it seems like they finally shut down based on how it looks. It's very hilly. And these houses are very memorable as well. They look very medieval for their stones. I always thought they looked really beautiful. Yeah, I'm really surprised after moving to Iowa, to Seattle, everywhere, especially here in San Jose, that it was surprising because this was the essentially the first place that I've been to in the US back in high school. So I was surprised that not all of the US looked like this. I thought houses were like this all over the US, but in fact, don't. Um, Mount Lebanon is really beautiful. The houses are very beautiful, especially some of the houses that we will see later in the other area. Certain areas are better than others. So I remember going this way, we could reach South Hills. Um, and now comes like this giant slope. I think mom and dad got a lot of our houses furniture from this store. Uh, I think back in the day, let's see how far back we can go. They sold furniture or something here. Or maybe was it this one? It might have been this one. Yeah. It looks like they still have some furniture, so I'm not fibbing. 2007. Might I even see the ones that we bought? No, those pieces don't look familiar, the ones outside. But yeah, I think they bought some of like my chairs and stuff, my desk from over here. I remember this. I think Owe lived here. Ling or Owe. We did come here to party once or twice. A lot of the Asian kids. And then there's the Golden Fingers over here, which they finally closed down. But see, back in 2022, they're still around and all the way back to 2007. So the pandemic really wasn't that kind to businesses. It's a tough time, I guess. The CVS, impressed that they're still around. We did come here a few times. There's a Subway, still here in 2025, was there when I was in high school. And I remember having such anxiety ordering Subways because English wasn't that good. I didn't know half the ingredients, like provolone. What is provolone? It just sounded like provolone, So it was hard ordering a sandwich. Like, can I just go to McDonald's and just order a number one and get the number one? Eventually, I learned how to build a really good sandwich, and I also learned that Indians make the best sandwiches. If it's some white person making a sandwich, you can expect it to be all floppy and not as full, not as filling. There's a Dollar General. Where's the Dollar General? Oh, it got I guess it got replaced by another building, but yeah, we used to come to this Dollar General a lot too. This was the best Dollar General I've been in. The other ones that I went to, I realized that Dollar General was kind of dumpy, but this one felt really nice. It was a really nice Dollar General. So what is it now? It's a First National Bank. Oh, they even demolished it. The original Dollar General. And then here there's this tremendous uphill. It's so exhausting to get to, especially when you have so much stuff on your back. Later when I got a bike, this was a nice place to go downhill. Lots of fun, of course. Hard to come back up. And then this is where mom would drop me off, drive to the side, I'd hop off on one of these corners, usually over there, I think, like over there, and I'd hop off. And then back in the day, we always went through in and out this entrance the most out of all 4 years. But back in the day, they had trees, so I guess they cut them all off. But it was really pretty back then to have all the trees, but they cut them off. Now, it doesn't seem like it has changed that much. If you look at Mount Lebanon from the top, my high school, there's one long building over here, and then a big building over here. Essentially, another building here and another building here. The front door is over here, and this long hallway, it almost looks like some kind of government building. I guess it is a government building, but it looks kind of like some National Archives. Um, you don't see a baseball field because I guess they weren't into baseball. Oh, it's all the way out here, but this is part of. Oh, so we did have a softball field. It's so far though. It's between the rec center. Okay, my bad. I thought we didn't have a baseball team. Tennis courts we almost never used. I never used. I don't play tennis. But yeah. Let's do a walkabout. So some of these classrooms on this row, I remember I had English on the third. Well, we called this, I think, the fifth floor because it was built on a hill. So even though there's like a B1, B2, B1 and B2, we called it first and second because if you go to the side over here, you can see that it's built on a hill. And so like the other building that has a larger back a presence on the back end, they want to level that out. So uh that was fifth floor, fourth, third, second, first. I don't know how, I don't even remember how that was counted, but that also had like 5 or 6 floors because I think the cafeteria was on the third and fourth and fifth. Okay, so probably just 5 floors, but that 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 building's fifth floor is lower than this building's fifth floor. Eh. I'm probably making shit up too. Anyways, I had civics in this room that was against the wall. I hated civics. It was so boring. A boring class in a boring part of school. Underneath that here was Cisco graphics class, and then next to it was woodshop. So I was here quite a bit in freshman and sophomore year, but I don't like this side of the building. It's on the fringe of the school, right? It's so far away from the action. So I had for junior and senior year, I had English on the third floor. I think I also had French here, so maybe a lot of the language classrooms were here. I think I had Western civilization in one of these rooms, and then world cultures. No, Western Civ on the other side of this room, and then world cultures maybe over there. Uh, I don't remember what was on the first floor if I had any. I think wait. Maybe my home room was here on the first floor in one of these rooms with Mrs. Duda. Uh, but then again, I'm not too sure. My locker, I think my locker was either on the no, my locker was probably on B1. I think it was B1 or was it the first floor? I think it was the B1 and it was somewhere over here. Now, this is the actual front entrance of the school. It looks pretty much the same, but I guess I was lying because this is redone. When I go back to '08, it was black. So even though the new one also looks right, this is what I actually grew up with. But you can tell like all of this is the same. And then if we look back at 2025, we can see that their school production this year is Anastasia. That's pretty cool. So there's no footage of the actual school inside, but we can still kind of go over it. If we walk over here and then you can look through the bushes, there's like two loading docks over there, but there's like this garage door, and that's where the tech theater was. So there's a large auditorium here. So every year, I think there's one big production, one small production. And the big production, you would enter through the front door and then enter left. And this is the big auditorium with all the seats, and this was the big stage. Now, for smaller productions, you would park here and here. There's student parking for usually for seniors, expensive permits. But on show dates, you park here and you walk in through this door, which is this glass pane door, and then there's like a little lobby. They collect your tickets, and then this was all seating, of course, and this is the stage. So Tech Theater, it was smartly linked. You know, it was linked to the back of the stage for the big stage and the little stage, and we were able to go in between. And we stored a lot of wood, a lot of hardware, uh, because we had to build sets. Right, we had to build sets, paint cans, all that kind of stuff, and go on the catwalks to adjust the lights, operate the audio and everything. So pretty awesome. I liked how this was linked. Not too sure what this was, but probably just classes. I think phys ed was here. Um, not too familiar. And then chemistry. I think I had chem. Wait, did I have chem here? It's kind of hard to tell from here. Anyways, let's continue. So let's jump down here. I think when I was here, it was more barren. Oh, we have 2007. Yeah, it was a grassy patch. I'm not making it up. But later on, I think as we graduated, they had a lot of changes to the school. See, in 2007, no wonder it looks. I was wondering, it looked kind of different in 2025. So here in 2017, after we graduated, they built all of this. Looked really nice. But back in '07, let's go back to '07 because I don't want to keep making stuff up. Wow, they changed things a lot, huh? Oh, wow. Okay. Yeah, no wonder it felt a little bit, like, unfamiliar. It almost looks like a hospital to me because in '07 we didn't have that. Yeah, it looked like this back then. Yep, this looks a lot more familiar to me. Maybe I didn't successfully record the last 2 runs for a reason. Needed to correct my mistakes. Yes, this is the school that I grew up with. Let's go back to '07. Okay. Now I'm feeling it. Now I'm feeling it. Wow, they changed a lot. And here I was brainwashing myself last time that, "Hey, yeah, I walked out of those places. That blue Mount Lebanon sign was there. This this wasn't there. I called that." But, I thought this was largely the same. Crazy. No, this is what I grew up with. Football field, we didn't come to the football field that much. I'm gonna take a quick detour over here. So this is the Lebanon football field. I think it I think it's largely unchanged, but let's fact check myself. Yeah, it's pretty much the same, right? Okay, it looks a bit nicer now. I came here for track in sophomore year. I decided to try track out for like 2 or 3 weeks. It wasn't really fun. And graduation. And there were certain events that we did come out here for, but I wasn't here too often. Remember coming to track the first day, they made us run up that hill and back down like 20 times. I couldn't feel my legs the next day. I walked like a penguin for a week. Anyways, let's go back. And you can see through to the inner courtyard over there. But let's go back to '07 a bit. Oh, you can't really see it here, but trust me, it was there. Let's look at the map. So there's the inner courtyard here. This so if you came in through the front door, that's over here. Uh this is the auditorium. I feel like I'm feeding some false information. That is the auditorium, that's right. Where was the huh? There was an indoor basketball court, a really big one where we had our spirit assemblies. Might it be over here then? I guess it could be over here. It's kind of hard to tell without this memory being so hazy and can't go in at all. But there was a indoor auditorium where we played basketball and stuff for the first 2 years. We have phys ed the first 2 years, which really sucked. They also made us swim in the winter, the coldest time. I had to go through a basement walkway and get to the swimming pool. I think it was maybe in here. And yeah, you had to after swimming, you had to shower, get your books and everything, and rush back in 10 minutes. This black thing is actually glass panes. So here is the cafeteria on the fifth and fourth and third floor. And of course, if you were freshmen and sophomores, you would go to the third or fourth floor. But the fourth and fifth were mostly seniors and juniors. And then the glass pane, you can see that this is, I think, the lobby, the center court that people hung out at, where we had homecoming and snowball, the dances. But the auditorium, we used that one for prom, I think. I don't know why that was. Maybe they could squeeze everyone in this one. That's why they used it. I don't know. And then there's classrooms all around here. So we had like A Push over here, Earth Science on the first floor over here, International Relations on the fourth floor over here. I think chemistry was either over here or over here. I don't remember. Uh, what else? Miss Fatier's English was over maybe on this side over here. But yeah. Anyways, this is what it looks like. Nice to be able to see it like this because the last 2 times that I did this tour, I was in 2025 and it looked so different. Yeah. From the exterior, it really isn't very fun. Oh, right, right. I always thought that was funny. The library was at the back of the building. Oh, wait. What? So they removed this building for tennis courts? Wow. Okay. Guess I'm really confused now. Oh, that's gone. Wow, they made some big changes. Okay. Huh. Yeah, they had a really old school library here, and I think it needed to change. I mean, it was out of date when I was there. It felt really 80s. Uh, the aesthetics were really 80s. So I guess it's time for a change. I'm just glad it's in VR. Who recorded? Google recorded this in 2007? Oh, that's crazy. I'm glad they did. This is such a throwback to see it like this. Seeing it in the updated version, yeah, it no wonder it felt like it was kinda off. Thought I had brain damage or something. Okay. Yeah, so that pretty much wraps it up, I think, for the school. It looks prettier now. So, that was how I got to school from Newbern. Now, let me show you how should we just jump to our second home first and then walk back to school? No. Let's show you 2 ways how we went to the library. So, this is probably the most common way. So, almost every day after school, I went to the library. It was just one of the natural places to go. Uh, it was easy to meet up with friends. In my first 1 or 2 years, I would meet up with Paul or Young. Later in junior and senior year, I met up with Marina, and we would walk to school. I would walk to the library, and there would be a procession of students. Um, not too many, not like an entire crowd, but there would be like twos and threes and twos and threes, and just a lot of students going that way in this direction. So it was nice to you know, walk along this path with everyone else, even though there is a shortcut over there that I can show you later, but uh it was easy to it was easy and fun to just go this way because even though there's this incline that wasn't that fun, you're able to say hello to classmates who were heading this way after school as well. So if I needed to go home, I would go straight that direction later on in sophomore, junior, and senior year because we moved. But normally we would go this way uphill over here, and then arrive at this cathedral, which I don't know if I ever went in, and cross the road to the library. Yeah, and the library has remained unchanged. So there's a way to go up this way, or more commonly, especially by car, we would come this way. There's a small parking lot, but there's more parking over there, and enter this way. So they only have two shots of the library. One is from outside, and this was also nostalgic for me the last two times when I was doing this tour because I forgot a lot about Mount Lebanon, how it looked, how to get to the library, and everything. But I've been updating my journals lately, and this is the interior. So you walk in or you come up that staircase, and there was a library desk over here, and then in the middle there was a row of two rows of computers. So in our freshman year, Paul and I and a bunch of other kids often came and played Halo because they're linked. Sometimes the librarians didn't care. Sometimes they shoot us away. But we like to come here after school and play Halo, and I hated Halo. I didn't even like the game, but something to do, right, with friends. And it was a nice library. They had a lot of DVDs and CDs that you can borrow. I ended up borrowing a lot to after I learned how to rip DVDs and started to build my own collection. And then Marina and I, we came in junior year and came after school every day, waited for her mom to pick her up because she lived further away. And we would wait at one of those tables, one of those nooks. Had really nice lighting. Took a lot of nice pictures of her with nice lighting in those nooks. And then from the outside, oops. And the outside, you can see that they have a book sale going on. But book sales happen once a year, I think, or maybe with more frequency. I just don't remember. But I did volunteer once or twice and put up the books, and then we set up the cash register over here. But as I was saying, in this way, yeah, this is Mellon elementary school, and we came here all the time to play basketball, especially in our sophomore and then freshman and sophomore years when I hung out with the Asians the most. Came here to play basketball because Mount Lebanon didn't have open courts for us to play at, and it was further. Here it was closer to most of their houses, so here you can get a really nice angle. And these were the two basketball hoops that we used. They weren't the best, but it was some place where we can play and hang out. Yeah, and as I was saying, I've been updating my journals lately from high school, so all of this started coming back to me in my head, and then coming to here and visiting it in VR and seeing it, like I remember it uh really, really. It was like a refresher course. Now I remember it really clearly. Let's go look at it in 2007. Yeah, so I don't think I was making it up. There are two trees here, and they had these like concrete blocks where we can sit on, but I guess they removed it later. See if we can get better footage a little bit ahead. Oh, so many kids. I guess this is during the day. Fast forward to 2025. Let's go back to 2007. So I think Yong lived in this building, I think, because it feels familiar. I think it's this one. I came to his house quite a few times. It was boring as heck. And we could skip over to Higher Fidelity 2025. It was boring as heck, but it was close to, the basketball court. So if we went and played some ball, shot some hoops. He was terrible at shooting hoops, by the way. But then we can come back and chill at his house for a bit. And it was so boring. There was nothing to do. They were a practical family, a Cantonese family. I don't I don't know if he had a dad. I never saw his dad. I think he just lived with his mom. Um, but yeah, they were very utilitarian. There wasn't any decorations, no fun at all, nothing to play with, nothing to eat. Coming forward here, I'm gonna take a right over here and take another left over here. And we came here quite a few times because to drop off Paul, when he was hanging out at our house and Shen would help or mom would, drop him off. And as you can tell from the Asian kids, this is what we called Chinatown back then. I think Paul lived in this room. I recall pretty well. He had a treadmill facing the window and he stayed in this room. He had a messy room. This place still looks like a mess after so many years, even messier. They actually have footage of 2007. Wow, it was actually better back then, and the paint didn't peel off yet. So Paul is living here right now in this moment in 2007. Isn't that awesome? I think Lou Lee lived in one of these apartments. We came here a couple times, chilled too. Chikako was essentially best friends with Lou Lee later in sophomore year, so did come here a few times. Uh, Met Lily here too. Coming back to Main Street. Yeah, this all looks really familiar. Sesame Inn, I think they relocated, and definitely got a different sign. They weren't there before. Let's check in '07. Yeah, nothing there. They were on the second floor of one of these buildings. I can't remember which one, but maybe it was that building, but it was not this building. Guess they're here now, and I'm surprised that Minios is still standing. So yeah, as you can see in '07, they were here too. They looked nicer too. What happened? Ah, there we go. I wasn't lying. Yeah. So you can enter the first floor. They had seating on the first floor, but I do recall that there was seating available on the second. That's cool. So it just moved across the street, huh? Now it's Empire Music. There's a music store back then too. So if we keep going this way again, it's going to be the library, and this is the front face of Andrew Mellon School Elementary. This was not here before, I think. Yeah, it was a little different. Remember these buildings? They looked really weird. Okay, going down this street in 2005. Eventually, we will hit our home, our second home, which is 50 Academy Avenue on Academy Avenue. Little Tokyo was always here, and Aladdin's was always here, and the saloon, but I never went into the saloon. Went to these two restaurants a couple times, I think. Was Lebo Subs there? Lebo Subs was not, but the other two were. They've been around. Yeah, and public parking, because this goes down to the tram station. So if you pop up on this side, you would take the steps down here, and then there would be a train station over here. So I guess you could pop down one more level and wait for the train over here. And I think that's how Shen oftentimes rode to Pittsburgh. She would just ride this train all the way to Pittsburgh if she didn't drive. So coming back up here, Rolliers is still here, which is awesome. We went to Rolliers a lot, Paul and I, not to buy anything, but just to hang out and walk through it. And we did it at least probably once a month. Oh, one thing I forgot to mention, so important. One thing I forgot to mention in the last two videos was that I used to hang out here a lot, because this was Don's cross guard section. He would help kids cross from here and here. And old people, of course, but if it was old people and they were bent over like Quasimodo, he would mock them behind their backs. Like, he himself was almost 90, so I guess it was fair, but he stood up straight. Guy was an army man and a police officer. So you can see in 2007, it also looked like that. And maybe if we go through the years, we can see Don. That might be Don, actually. I remember him being bigger, though. But if it's '08, that should be Don. 2013. I don't think he's working right now, huh? Well, we can't go. Yeah, that might be Don. I'm not too sure, but we can't go too far ahead because, you know, he was close to 100, so he probably wouldn't have been there in 2012 or 15. Maybe he was in 12. Hmm. Okay, well, let's go back to '08. It's pretty good footage. Ooh, I think we went back to '07. Going through here, this was 2016, 13, '07. Let's just do modern times, 2025. And this big orange block, apartments on Academy, was our second apartment. So we would go in and go right up to the top, and we were facing the back. Oops. Over there, that back apartment. That was Shen's. Wait, that was I think that was the bathroom window, and then Shen's was facing the back, as was my room. the laundry was in the basement, so doing laundry took hours because you would have to go back down, check if it was, dry enough, check if it was done, and then dry it, and then come back down to check if it needed another uh, dry run, and then uh, haul it back up. So that was an endeavor for sure. Come on this side, you can see the garage going down underneath the apartment building. And if we zap over to here, we can kind of look at the back. So that was our balcony. So the living room is that one with the AC unit. And to get to the balcony, you would walk from the living room and then enter to the balcony. But the balcony had a big window connected on the inside of it, and that was my room. So symmetrically, you could see the living room. You would walk in here, but the window would be facing this way out, right? So I could see the outside from my room, and Shen's was on the very left, a little a smaller room, I think, slightly smaller, and the living room with that AC. So that was our unit, and it had a really good view. Too bad we don't have a bird's eye view here, but it had a really nice view of because it was downhill, so you can see the downhill over here. All right, let's come back to Academy. It was nice living here. Hung out with friends here all the time. Mom and dad came less during junior and senior year, and I was able to have a lot of friends come over, and uh, we did whatever we wanted. Had crazy fun parties. And I think Dawn lived here. Dawn lived on the first floor over here. Now, going to school, once I got a bike, I started to ride around like this. But before, when I didn't have a bike or when it was the winter, I would cut through this parking lot, and then there's a shortcut. So I would go over here and then climb up here. So this patch over here, and usually, when it's dry, you can just, it's a little taxing on the calves, but the thighs, but you can do it. But I remember uh one winter I slipped and my hands just went into the snow, and by the time I walked from here to here, my hands were purple and I couldn't clutch anything. They were just so almost felt swollen and purple, and I had to squeeze both of my palms together and shove, the key into the keyhole and twist like that because I can't actually couldn't actually grip. The winters were kind of dangerous here. Definitely had to be careful and bundle up. Now, once I got a bike, I couldn't go down that way, but I didn't want to ride down Main Street. It was busier, so I would go around here on Main Street and then come back down, come to here, and there's this nice slope that allowed me to just glide all the way down. And I remember wearing this stupid I bought ski goggles because they look cool, and I was able to block out the wind. Ski goggles are huge, like this VR headset. I was able to block out a lot of the wind, and I would wear them throughout the day. I'd dangle them on my neck, and I think people thought it was cool. Maybe not the girls, but the guys thought it was cool. Uh, yeah, these houses look so beautiful, don't they? I forgot where Gabby lived. I wish I remembered. I think it was somewhere. I think it was somewhere over here. I think it was somewhere over here, but her neighborhood had some beautiful houses. Yep, and then down this other slope, and then if I didn't brake, I can coast all the way up here and then ride the rest of the way and then tie my bike. Where did I tie my bike or lock my bike? Was it just along these rails? I kind of don't remember. Yeah, I don't remember. But this is how we got back to school. See? It's a lot closer when we lived on Academy Avenue than Newbern. See? Academy Avenue was over here, right? And Newbern was all the way up somewhere over here. Yeah, all the way over here. So that's a big difference. Now, another way that we can get to the library that we didn't use as much was to just go uphill because I think not so much because we had to just go uphill from the start, but because less people came this way. There's definitely some students coming this way, but it was a lot less. It just didn't seem as exciting. And then we would, loop back. It was probably a little further too, come to think about it. Loop back and reach this parking lot. In this parking lot, we can just cut over, get to the library. So yeah, that pretty much wraps it up for core Mount Lebanon. Oh yeah, forgot to mention this. We called this area Uptown, and I used to get my hair cut here. It's a good thing. In my last tour, I didn't think to check through the previous footage, so this time I'm able to. Yeah, it looked like a better time in 2007. Now it looks kind of businesses are all gone. But yeah, back in 2007, this was a barber shop, and uh, he- the first time he was old school. This guy, he would apply this like shaving butter, and it almost looked like butter too. And it was warm, it was hot, and applied it to the back of my neck, and I jolted the first time that he did that. And then he pulled out a shaving knife and shaved it all off. And every time I went back, he would tell me about uh, how he would tell the story about me, getting a jolt from the shaving knife. Seemed to give him a laugh every time. Yeah, 2007 footage seems much more familiar to me. This looks really familiar now. It's just the poor quality is a little bit harder to sift through, to navigate. Yeah, this was when we were here. Let's go to Academy Avenue again. They only have 2007, so we weren't here in 2007 yet. It would have been cool if it was 2008. Then we could imagine ourselves, hey, we're right up there in this moment. So, coming out here, if we keep on going this way, there is a fire department here. I think it looked the same, but just to be sure, yeah, pretty much the same, right? And then there's a graveyard over here, which I like to come to because I didn't find it creepy. I found it peaceful and a really safe place to ride your bike or go on a stroll. It was really big, so uh, I came more often once I had a bike. I would just ride all over Mount Lebanon, but I didn't go too far. I wonder why I never really just went nuts and go all the way to ride to Baldwin or something. We didn't have sophisticated phones back then, so maybe that was a thing. If I had a smartphone, I'd probably do it. This was always barren, same as before. There was also over here there was a karate school, a taekwondo school, I think. And I came to inquire about it once. Was it this one? I guess they shut down. No, this is Ponizzo. Huh, that's weird. I remember it being somewhere here, but I did come to ask about it once, but the the master, the coach just seemed I don't know, I didn't like him a lot. He was also said to be an Olympic athlete, but he just seemed too needy. He wanted me to join too much. Oh, it looked different in '07. Somehow remembered it as demolished, but I guess I made that part up too. So there was something here before. Okay, so this is probably what I remember, just not the entire thing. There's a church over here. and this street. So I completely forgot, but wait, no. No, not this street. My bad. Just keep on going. There's another church. There's a lot of churches here. Oh, there we go. Noms. Yeah. Tang Sudo. So it's not even Taekwondo. Maybe that's how it is. Tang Sudo coaches are needier. I remember driving through this road quite a few times because Marina lived somewhere over here. And later on, when her mom drove me to and from their house, this is the route that they took. There was this keeps jumping around, huh? This is what 2020. Let's go back to '07. Yeah, so this Franco's, I think we came here once with mom and dad and their friends or something. I don't remember who, but we did come here once. And here I was proud that I was able to connect it the other day. That if we go down this way, and of course, mom knew, Shen knew, but I wasn't driving as much, so I didn't remember. But if we keep going down this way, we come back to 50 Academy Avenue. No, sorry, Newbern Street. So our Newbern apartments. So that's how it connected to Dormont. Now, why are we going to Dormont? It's because one of my favorite shops was there. It's a secondhand store called The Exchange where you can buy used DVDs or games and exchange them like GameStop. But they had better deals than GameStop, and they um they were they were attainable. They're in reach. Like even though it was a further walk, uh yeah, we used to walk there a couple times, me and Paul, but later when we got our bikes, it was still quite a distance, right? But at least it was reachable. South Hills was too far without a car. And this was it. And I was good. And this was my last tour. I guessed it was this one because I couldn't really see which one it was. And then once I realized, oh yeah, I could go back in time, turns out it is this one. This is so nostalgic, this sign. But of course it's not here anymore. GameStop is about to be run out of business. All games are delivered digitally. So oh, MIB was a thing. Yes, I forgot about these guys. Yeah, we did come down to MIB for movies too. I came to the exchange for games more, but MIB, yeah, now I remember. Yeah, we did come here for games and movies, but for some reason it felt a little more scammy. Okay, going down here, I'm not able to recall that well, but we came to Eaton Park a lot, and I think it was this Eaton Park because there's a couple journal entries where after we went to Eaton Park, I would go to the exchange or whatnot. So this is probably the one that we came when we had Midnight Munchies because it was a lot closer. There's also a Eaton Park uh in the Coons direction, but I feel like this is the one that we came to more. And this keeps going. This keeps going down to if you continue to go to Allentown, Mount Washington. That's where they have a really nice overlook. But this is already out of Mount Lebanon. All right, the next place to check out in Mount Lebanon, I think, is South Hills. So let's try to get there from, let's look for the V here, and that's where Mount Lebanon is, the high school. Okay, so going uphill and in this direction, it was the fastest way to get to South Hills. And the apartments here, the houses here are just crazy. How how pretty they are. If you enter any of these neighborhoods, they just all the houses are just gorgeous. And this was my expectation for living in the US, that everyone lived like this except for, people in the ghettos and stuff. But no, even middle class people throughout all over the US do not live like this. Sorry, I digress. Back to the main street. There's quite a few memorable houses on this road. Am I on the right road? Yeah. Okay, so that's a memorable one for how big their yard was. I hope it is memorable. I'm not making shit up, right? Yeah, they had a big yard back then. They have a big yard now. Very well kept too. How pretty these houses are. Very arts and crafts like. Little cottages. Look at this guy. It's like a mansion. Some of these drive-throughs are so big that they look like they can name a road after their drive-through. Look at this drive-through. Ugh. Try to get a better angle. Look how long that is. It goes on and on. Sure are a lot of churches. Yeah, South Hills was a good 20 minutes away. It wasn't the closest, but uh, it wasn't that bad if you wanted to go to the mall. And we went to the mall quite a bit. High schoolers just hang out at the mall. Where else can you go? So before we get to the mall, there is another mall. This is the adult mall called Galleria. And they had adult stuff in the sense that, it was nicer restaurants, uh, shops like Pottery Barn and West Elm, Williams Sonoma, stuff like that. Uh, Rarely came here, but I had one of my best dates with Marina here. We got a cold walking from South Hills to here because they didn't have our movies at Carmike, but it was worth it. We had the best time playing dress up here and watching Where the Wild Things Are. That movie was so boring though. And also came for dinner with Dad's friends once with Shen. This is the inside of Galleria. And what was it called? Lebanon Lanes or Liberty Lanes? Something like that. Mount Lebanon Lanes. Yeah, that was there before, but it looked a little different. See, it was the same building, but that was always a bowling alley. Went there, I think, once or twice. And I want to say here, so this kind of reminded me the other day, this scene, because for some reason it really stood out to me. But I want to say that Chicago lived here because this area looks so familiar. I can't really pinpoint which building or if she did or not, but for some reason I feel like she lived here. And it may have been true. I think she did move eventually, but it was always far. Like they had to drive to get to school. It was hard. It was almost impossible to walk to school. And I want to say that she lived in this apartment, though I'm not entirely sure. So it's another big climb. Once I got a bike, there was definitely days where we did bike to South Hills. I have memories of here this place too because it used to be they used to have Borders here. Yeah, but they closed down the year I was graduating in 2011. They had clearance aisles and I was in there and I flipped through a magazine on interior design and I just decided, you know what, I'm gonna study interior design. Before I was thinking about stage decoration because of Tron, and I thought, hey, interior design pretty much relates, right? So when I was there flipping through a magazine, I decided that that was what I was gonna study in college. On this side, uh we see Dollar Bank, but before it was a Burger King. And Shen and I had so many dinners here, probably because I wanted to go. I heard that Burger King got shut down because an employee was using the drive through window to sell cocaine or something, just drugs. So unfortunately that that Burger King got shut down. Coles is still here. Olive Garden is still here in 2025. Went did go a few times. I forgot where Fridays was, but I thought it was here too, but no. It's Olive Garden. I think I came here with Marina once and maybe with Shen and Michael. I'm not sure. But there's Coles over there. Went there a few times and got a jacket at Burlington Coat Factory. So if you jump down, that's Coles. Burlington Coat Factory. Went there once or twice. Got a coat. Michaels. This is the Michaels that we went to, and Half Price Books. I'm surprised they're still there. Completely forgot where they were, but yeah, indeed it was there. I got a few comic books there. I was pretty frugal back then. I would have bought more, but I knew that mom and dad were strapped, so I was frugal in the dumbest ways. Like I wouldn't buy breakfast, and I was starved. I wouldn't buy, I would prepare shitty lunches because I didn't want to spend too much, and I was hungry a lot. Fridays was down here. Yeah. Okay. Okay. So yeah, Marina and I also came to this Fridays once. And Home Depot. When is this? 2018. Yeah, they're still here, right? They were there. Yeah, they were there when I was in school as well. But yeah, I was pretty frugal back then. I wouldn't buy even on eBay. I was going nuts and buying shit, but it was really small amounts. Um, didn't buy figurines because I knew I couldn't afford it, and didn't even buy those dollar McMuffins, banana muffins that I really liked in school until later. Okay, if we keep heading down this way, we hit South Hills. South Hills, I think, and first off, this used to be Carmike, but AMC bought Carmike. Um, there's the whole color scheme was pretty different back then. It was like a dark red. Came here with Marina. Our first date was Surrogates in this movie theater. Barnes and Noble was there, and still is here now. Surprised that Barnes and Noble is still standing. South Hills. I don't recall this front as much, but maybe you know, I just don't remember. I think that logo was the same. Uh, Newells and Co. I think was still there, but let's see how far back we can go. 2015. So that would have been 8 years after I was in high school, or 4 years after I left. So it seems like they really didn't change it at all. And at that point, Carmike was still Carmike, but with an updated paint job. It was dark red before. Yeah. So unfortunately, the footage in here is sparse. Uh, the one decent one that I think I found was this one, and it doesn't say what date it was. I don't remember this place really well. I just remember the food court and walking from the food court through Hot Topic and to the main mall area. But I guess this is right. Malls all look the same. Uh Interesting that they have a Steelers store because when I was in other cities and their malls, they don't really have like a team store. They usually it's like an athletic store, but they have one dedicated to Steelers here in Pittsburgh, Mount Lebanon, and the Sprint store. So Sprint has a large presence here, I think. Okay. Oh, there's a Eaton Park here too. Did we come to this one? You could convince me to say that we've been to all the Eaton Parks in Pittsburgh, and I wouldn't be none the wiser. Macy's. What was one more that I wanted to go to? Giant Eagle, I think. We came to this Giant Eagle sometimes. Olive Garden. South Hills. Whole Foods. This is so hard to navigate. uh, is it up here? Happy Easter. I was just here the other day, doing this tour, but now I can't find it. I think they're called Market District. Market District. So South Hills is Bethel Park, is it? Oh, Best Buy. Best Buy. Yeah. We did come to Best Buy quite a few times. I guess that was the Best Buy. Where is this? South Hills is here, so okay. We weren't too far off. This was Fridays and it was just on this side, yeah. I kept looking at this area. It was down here. Yep. Giant Eagle Market District. Good cheesecakes. When I was obsessed with cheesecakes, this is where we got the cheesecakes. And I think that wraps it up for South Hills. There's a Walmart over here, but I'm not entirely sure this is the Walmart that we hung out at. I want to say that it is, but I can't recall that well. And we used to do wheelies in the back. Well, not a lot, but wait, this doesn't look like the right Walmart then. Was it this one then? So there is another Walmart somewhere over here. Yeah. There was one time where we came like in the AM and did donuts in the back with Jake's car, Jake's van, his Chrysler van. Uh this looks familiar, but one of the things that has me unconvinced is I recall a giant movie theater called Destinta somewhere over here, but it's not here. Now maybe they demolished it. Let's see if we can travel back in time. I can't see shit. This is quality is too poor. 2011. So that bank was already there. I really want to find that movie theater. I had really good memories of that theater. Destinta Cinemas. Yeah. Destinta Cinemas. Yeah, nothing's popping up. Washington Pike, Phoenix Theaters. Oh, wait. This is Distinta. So they changed their name to Phoenix Theaters. I gotta save this one. Wait, so this isn't near Walmart? Actually, it's behind a mall. I'm surprised. Yeah, but I think this is Distinta. It looks really familiar. Awesome. What? When was this? 2015. Okay, so I guess I was incorrect in thinking it was close to Walmart. And yeah, there wasn't a mall back then, huh? What was this? I guess I don't recall much of it, but I remember the theater. This was as you can see, this is a huge theater. Pennsylvania, the DMV. DMV's over here. Um, I remember Harry Potter, the last movie, Deathly Hallows Part 2 came out when I was in, I think it was like 2010, and the entire school showed up. Not just our school, other schools showed up. And in every theater, all of them were just showing Harry Potter 7 because they needed that many theaters to supply all the students that were coming in. So everyone showed up on opening night for Harry Potter. That was an event. Oh, I'm happy that I got to see this. What else? I think we could pop into Castle Shannon really briefly. So, I think we came here to skate once, and also another time, the tram runs through here, and another time, I went on a date with Marina and brought Paul as a third wheel, and we came here waiting for Marina's mom to come pick us up. And the interior surprisingly looks exactly the same as the pictures I took, and I could see that Maria and I, we waited here, and it looks completely the same. Cheryl then dropped off Paul at Minio's Pizza in Uptown, and we went back to her house. You can see they have two rinks, one over here, one over there, and we came here to skate once. Oh, they also have a fitness center. Another place that we can go to. I'm running out of places, so there'll be maybe a part 2 to this if I can get more places. So this was Marina's house. Uh, I think this footage is recent, and they probably no longer live there. When I met Marina, her parents were going through a rough patch, and they got divorced. I think maybe 2 years later. So they probably just ended up selling the house. But I think this was Marina's room, or maybe this one was. I can't really remember. She had a nice room. Uh, House was kind of boring though. So you would go in, this the living room. I don't recall a TV. It wasn't really nicely decorated or anything. Uh, but the back was the living room, and then the kitchen, and they had a basement where they had the TV and entertainment room. We watch movies there sometimes. And then for prom, even though, you're dating, you're going to go together, you always have to ask each other out. Well, the guy has to ask the girl out. Will you go to prom? So to get that over with, I think I got Olivia and Jess to help me, or Olivia, or maybe just Olivia. I don't remember who, but came in, put a bunch of glow sticks down, asking her to go to prom, and guess what? She said yes. So every time trying to come here or leave this place, we got lost. This was before smartphones, before we had smartphones. So it was always difficult trying to get out of this maze. Anyways, that kind of wraps it up. I think Mike lives in Upper St. Clair. I can't remember where he or his aunt lives. Um, I think there was another area called, was it Baldwin? Yeah, Baldwin. Some places that we passed by. sometimes. The neighbors of our town. Uh, but yeah, I think there isn't really much to talk about here in Mount Lebanon. The next weekend, dive into Pittsburgh. Uh, I don't have that many locations for Pittsburgh. Probably just, the museum, PNC Park, the Lotus where we got our Chinese groceries, Squirrel Hill, and walk through maybe Carnegie Mellon and Pitt U. But I don't have that many memories of Pittsburgh itself. What the hell's a Randyland? Whoa. Oh, wow. Randyland. Was this here in '07? Not as well decorated as it later became, I guess. Oh, so he was building it back in '07. You can see that he laid down the foundations and then '08 touched it up with more stuff. It's pretty well kept. In 2024, it still looks beautiful. Oh, wow. Randyland is expanding like a hippie virus. Is it an actual store or? Oh, interesting. Okay, that's it for this.